everyone, and welcome to Bite the Bullet. We are so happy that you guys are tuning in, listening, watching, and just being a part of the show. If you have noticed, if you can see us on the screen right now, our homeboy D Factor is feeling a little bit under the weather right now, so he won't be tuning in. He won't be giving us his lovely input today. However, we do have the ultimate black man standing in his place. Hey, Gabe, can you say hi for the folks? Can you say hi?
What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone is doing well on today.
That's what I'm talking about. So today, it's no secret that people of color are consistently in a fight for their lives, whether emotionally, mentally, financially, or physically. And because of this, there are people that rise up to become the leaders within our communities. After all, no war is ever won by soldiers alone. Every war, every battle has generals like Dr. Umar Johnson and or Tariq Nasheed. Both of these gentlemen are very vocal about uplifting and creating a healthier black community. But are these two individuals and others like them healthy for the black community? So, Bite the Bullet Squad, question. Are people like Tariq Nasheed and Dr. Umar Johnson helping or hindering the black community? And my apologies, Trish. I didn't even announce you up in the room. Hello, how can I not say hello to Trish? What is up, my friend? What is up, sis?
That's all right. I'm here. I'm all good. Thank you.
Nice. So everybody, Dr. Umar Johnson and Tariq Nasheed, they're very vocal in the black community about uplifting and doing several things to help the black community. But again, are they helping or hindering the black community?
I don't know if Gabe wants to go first, but I'll just chime in on that. I think
ladies first.
Oh, okay, no problem. Thank you. So I told you, in my opinion, we need our children. Like I need my children to see more, I guess, stronger black men speaking out.
Right.
The thing is the delivery. Sometimes it's the delivery on how stuff is taken out there. But if more black men can stand up and talk for their people, I mean, I like that they stand up. I like that they talk about the black woman, that they talk about the black culture and black community. Sometimes I think that it's the delivery. It's the way how they deliver it. And it can come across as arrogant at sometimes. And, I don't want my children to think that, okay, they're obligated or they need to act a certain way to get that attention. It's one thing to act like that, but I think to be humble says a lot. But right?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna agree with you completely because having examples and role models are so important for any age. I know I'm almost 40 and I'm still looking for people to model my life after, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I tend to wonder, and before Gabe, if you don't mind, because I'm sure you have something to say, let me play a clip of Dr. Umar Johnson talking about President Biden.
Okay. I'm going to go to President Biden. President Biden, your first day of office, you signed an executive order to protect the life and safety of transgenders. I have no problem with that. But you did it on your first day. But he sat up here with you, Charlemagne, and told black people that if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. So if you went out of your way begging black people to vote for you, why haven't we got an executive order or any other activity coming out of the Oval Office from President Biden to protect black people from police?
I agree.
Look what he's doing with the anti-Asian hate. President Joe Biden signed an executive order that is exclusive to Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. I don't have a problem with that. But if you can protect the Asian American and Pacific Islander from violence, why can't you do the same thing for black people?
Wow. He said a mouthful there. I agree with everything he said. I looked up the bill. He's absolutely correct. President Biden did sign that bill into law. So, panel, thoughts?
And Dr. Umar brought the heat in that interview. He's cooking.
And funny enough, he tend to always does. Like, it's like Trish was saying, it's the delivery a lot of times. I don't agree with everything he says. I used to be a huge Dr. Umar fan. I used to be a big Tariq fan until certain beliefs that they consistently say I'm not a fan of. But what he says just there, I can't argue with that. That's to me 100% facts.
It's facts.
All right.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Dr. Umar. And of course, I am a Tariq Nasheed supporter. I have donated to almost every documentary he has done.
Oh, for shame. You're off the show now. No, I can't tolerate that. No.
In fact, Tariq is one of the main reasons I'm in the whole dating relationship world, because that's what he started. And I felt like men were missing out on a lot of that game he was giving out years ago. So I support Tariq. Now, is Tariq perfect? No. But does he have a heart for the community? Yes. And I feel like Dr. Umar loves the community as well. I just feel like with Tariq, it's not financial. If Tariq would do this for free. If he didn't receive a dime, he'd still do what he would do. I don't know if I can say the same for Dr. Umar.
Well, there was that whole big scandal of he was collecting money and the school. It took so long to get there. He finally has it up. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but it's supposedly up and people can sign up and go to it. So yeah.
And so I in respect on it, I'm glad he got it up. But both of these men make good points. I think society at large, they don't see black men, strong black men, speak in such a strong manner, because if these were two white dudes doing this for the white community, we wouldn't have any issue. It wouldn't be this big problem or this big ordeal. He's just being a man, right?
Well, Gabe, I'm sorry. Like, I agree to a point, and I agree because yes, when white men speak as passionately as Dr. Umar and even Tariq, there's no one bats an eye. However, if a white man was to say some of the things that like Dr. Umar says about only date your race, you're coon if you do, some people might be offended by that. They may get turned off. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry, but there's a lot of white people that say that keep the white race pure.
True.
Right.
That they've been saying that for years. But what I wanted to say on touch point is that, and you guys are touching on it, is that I believe that when it's someone of color, whether it be a black man or black woman, when they start speaking out, they tend to be viewed as being angry or for the culture and all that. But if it was someone who was white, they would be, someone who you look up to because, they're preaching facts and they're so passionate. That's the word that they would use. They'll use passionate. They wouldn't use angry like they used for these for certain people. So, and the thing is that I find as though for black people or colored people or brown people, it's like you almost have to be perfect. Could you imagine if Barack Obama did even an eighth of what Trump did in the White House? What would have happened?
Oh, he would have been out by day 20.
Oh yeah, for sure. Be out of there.
Oh man. So, Dr. Tariq Nasheed. There's a clip that I want to play with him, but I need to say a disclaimer before I play this clip. He was on Clubhouse. This is an incident that happened, I think, about 2 weeks ago. I personally feel like he was ambushed, and the altercation that you'll hear is him defending himself against several women who are accusing him of not paying. And here, I'll play the clip. 1 second.
Before in here that they had. My name is London. I was in 1804. I had to track you down to get paid for it.
No, what? When were you in 1804?
She's shown us images, and they're not doctors, that she was in the actual documentary. She's PTR'd them in multiple rooms before. You paid me, but it took a very long time.
What? Who was in 1804 in here that they had to?
My name is London. I was in 1804. I had to track you down to get paid for it.
No, what? When were you in 1804?
She's shown us images, and they're not doctors, that she was in the actual documentary. She's PTR'd them in multiple rooms before. You paid me, but it took a very long time.
What? Where were you in the movie?
I was one of the slaves.
So in that clip, the video, I mean, you could look it up on YouTube. It goes on for like, I think anywhere from like 30 to 40 minutes. And Tariq calls these ladies a whole bunch of different names for different reasons. And I understand because he was angry and he's being accused of a lot of things that I don't know if he did or if he didn't do. But however, like when you're at his level, it's kind of like what Trish was mentioning earlier before. You have this image that people are looking at you at. So when, I don't even know how to phrase what I'm trying to say, because it's clearly none of us are perfect. But at the same time, I personally feel that he could have handled that with a little bit more class.
Yeah, for sure. You're a person who's in the media. And the thing is, in Clubhouse, it's not like we're doing this interview right now. Like, dude, just press the peace sign and get out of the room.
And I kept wondering, I was like, how come you haven't cut off your mic yet or just left the room? Like, what did you have to prove?
Leave the room. Like, oh, you know what? You don't even have to answer those questions. Maybe reach out to her, figure it out at some other time. But I mean, it's not that you have an image, but you are in the media. You are advocating for certain things when it comes to Black people. You know what?
Right.
Represent. And you know what? Do not disrespect. And I just think that it's very small of him, regardless of the situation, to be calling people names. That is so immature.
I agree. And as Gabe was saying earlier, like, I'm not a huge fan of Tariq, but I admire a lot of things he does, like with the documentaries and him helping the culture and a lot of different things like that. But in this particular instance, and this isn't the first time, because him and Dr. Umar actually almost fought it out several times because they didn't agree. And it's just like,
it's strong.
Right. And it's like, it's almost like with the whole Barack Obama thing. Barack knew that he had to always be cool. He couldn't let people see him break down, because I felt he knew that he had this image to live up to. Whether he did right in the office, whether he did wrong in the office, that is all debatable. But no one can ever say he broke down and he acted out, you know?
Yeah. So, go ahead, Gabe.
So,
go ahead, Gabe. Go ahead.
I'm aware of that interview, and I've had my own run-in with Pink Pill. I've actually straight cooked her and called her all kinds of names.
Okay.
This is the thing. You know, you make a good point about being more professional and everything. I'm trying to work on that as well.
Okay.
But knowing Tariq and the track record he's had with money, which is really good. He's always paid people. Nobody has come out and said he scammed anyone. For this chick to get on a public platform and essentially say, because at what point she was making, I don't even know. She got paid.
Yeah.
Right.
And you getting on here saying, oh, it took him forever to pay. Okay, if it took him whatever, you still got paid.
I got it.
You can't say you didn't pay him. A lot of these sisters, a lot of them clout chase. They're clout chasing chicks, and they'll use your name to come up. Listen, I don't have just no huge following like he does. The little following I have had women make rooms about me. I have a girl who stalks me every day. She makes posts about me every day. I call her my biggest fan. She absolutely adores and loves me.
Right.
So when you're elevating, your platforms are growing and people are listening to you, you come across that. You have to learn how to deal with them. Because I have been guilty of cooking women and calling them all kinds of names.
Right.
I don't call them the B word or anything, but I have had that instance where, you have to kind of get them in line almost, because they start to get disrespectful. That could tarnish his brand. That could tarnish what he has going when you're accusing him of something that isn't true. So I definitely understand the frustration. Should it be handled a little bit better? Yeah, sure. But I get where he's coming from with that. I honestly do.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that is the problem, because as I played the clip, a lot of other people could play the same clip or a different version of the clip. You can cut it, remix it, and do whatever you want with it, like a 20 million different ways. So I think people who put themselves in a position of authority or leadership always have to be mindful of how they're being presented to other people. And my apologies, for some reason there's dogs barking if you guys can hear it. But But what I was just about to say is that I agree with you, Gabe, that yes, he was in that room and he was defending himself. And yeah, when people catch you off guard, a lot of times our emotions get the best of us. However, this wasn't the first time he's done it. Dr. Umar has done it. There have been other people who have done it. And I admit, I've probably been guilty of it too, particularly like in my early days of first getting on social media. But now through my own experiences, I've learned, like, you know what? It's better for me to cut the feed and do my frustration somewhere else than it is to just let that feed hang out there and mess up my brand and my money. If that makes sense.
Makes sense. I get it.
Yeah. So one of the other things that Dr. Umar is constantly talked about and criticized for is his stance on interracial relationships. So I'm going to play a clip I'm going to play 2 clips and you guys will hear what he said because I don't want to speak for Dr. Umar.
Let me ask you a question, Dr. Umar. Are you totally against interracial relationships?
I am totally against it, and I want to make sure you understand why. Mm-hmm. It's not because... Cut it out, Envy. Cut it out, Envy.
Don't do that, Envy. I'm having a serious conversation.
We have a name for it. We have a name for it. Okay. The Snow Bunny Crisis.
Okay.
I'm against the Snow Bunny Crisis. And I want your white listeners to understand. Because people be trying to say stuff like, he's the Black Hitler. I'm not the Black Hitler. I am in no way interested in hurting or harming the life of any human, white, Asian, Chinese. I believe in respecting everybody. Mm-hmm. The reason I'm against interracial marriage, Envy and Charlemagne, is because marriage is an economic contract. It's an economic contract. Most women do not marry down in status. They marry up. And if you don't believe me, show me a rich white woman married to a broke-ass black man. Have you ever seen a rich white woman marry a broke-ass black man? No, you have not, and you never will. Because marriage ain't about love, it's not colorblind, and it is totally economic. So if marriage is an economic unification and a contract, how can we, who don't have enough already, give so much to the white woman and to white people who have already taken too much when we got all these black women out here who will never get married? Only 1 out of every 4 black women in America will ever taste marriage. And half of them who taste marriage will be divorced within 5 years. If you want to save the black family, you have to protect it. And in order to protect it, you have to be against interracial marriage. You can't say, I love the black family, but I don't have a problem with interracial marriage. Interracial marriage is eliminating the black family because it is not providing our women with enough available and able black men to be their husbands.
Okay, that's the first clip. And this next clip, I promise, is really short. So here's the next clip.
That's what we need out here, brothers. It's about black love. I told Charlemagne and DJ Envy today, I ain't got nothing against no white woman. I told Charlemagne and DJ Envy today, I ain't got nothing against no white woman. White woman ain't done nothing to me, but I love the black woman, and I'm loyal to the black woman, and the black woman is my priority. That's just the way it's gonna go. That's just
that's the way it is, and that's his opinion. I have multiple thoughts about this, but Trish, Gabe, your thoughts?
Dr. Umar's cooking. Cooking. Man, he was cooking. Yeah. I'm all for black love too. My platform is catered to black, young black people, and helping them trying to find love and bridge the relationship gap between black men and black women. Right. Yeah. That's what I mostly focus on.
Right.
I believe in black love. I want to see black men with black women. I do. I'm going to marry a black woman. I am going to have black children, and I hope most of my peers and friends do the same. However, I have to be honest.
Yeah.
Some of our sisters are going to have to marry out. And some of our brothers are going to have to marry out because we don't have enough qualified individuals to get married. The point he made when he said 1 in 4 black women will never taste marriage, that's very real. It's very real, especially if she keeps her options to just black men. Now, do I want to see all black? Because these folks will call me a coon and a Sambo. I'm neither one. All right, I'm as pro-black as they come. But we have to be honest. Some of these, a lot of the lesser desirable women, or the very high paid sisters that just can't get brothers that are in their lane or in their pay range, are going to have to date out. They won't have a choice. If they don't, they'll just die by themselves, and that isn't what we want. So that's how I look at that.
You see, I hear that all the time about, there's so many women, especially Black women, making X amount of money, but there isn't enough Black men doing it. There's just so many stands I can take on this, and I don't know if it's because I'm older, but or maybe for me, money has never been a huge factor for me when it came to relationships. Like, I've had 2 of my most serious relationships. I've always been the person making more money, but that's never been an issue in the relationship, right? And I just feel as though if you're a woman, a Black woman, especially a Black woman in that particular position, we know the struggles that Black men go through in society as a whole. I mean, if I meet someone who's treating me really good, and we're in love, and regardless of his stature, wouldn't it be, because I love this man, to help build him up, maybe get him to where he wants to be or aspire to be, help him to get there. I mean, why are most women, and Gabe, maybe you can answer this, because I've been in some of your rooms, and I actually have a question for you in regards to, I think was the room you were in last week, the marriageability thing. I can't remember the full name of the room, but why are women, I don't know, are they discouraged if they make a certain amount of money, especially Black women, that is looked upon if the man makes less money? Because in a lot of these rooms that I'm looking in, or that I'm in and I'm listening on, they want a man that's 6 figures, they want a man that's making a certain amount of money, yet they're not even making like 20% close to what they're asking for, or they're not willing to give a certain amount. And another thing in regards to the whole interracial dating, I am not against it, because, okay, I'll explain it. It's not that I'm against it, because I know that I've met and I am friends with a lot of Caucasian men as well, who are very cultured. They know a lot about my Caribbean culture, about the African culture. They know a lot, very cultured. But then I also have friends, Black men, who are in relationships with Caucasian women, Asian women, who over the years have, one, lost their identity as Black men. They would have be coming to my house all the time for certain types of food.
Come on, Trish.
Huh?
Come on, Trish. You own it right now. I'm like,
come into my house for certain type of food. A lot of their wives couldn't even comb the kids' hair, didn't know how to deal with it, didn't know how to deal with certain body types and stuff like that. And to me, as a woman, if you're getting into a relationship, especially a woman get into a relationship with a man of a different cultures, even if it's especially a Black man, learn about the culture, learn about the food that they like, it goes the same for the man, learn about the woman's culture. But I don't see it. I just see that I feel as though these white women have these men as a token, and they walk around with them, and here's my Black man. They're not learning about them. They don't even try to learn about some of the things that they go through in their lives that make them who they are today. Because there's a lot of Black men out there that's hurting, that's going through a lot of stuff that women don't take the time to even recognize. And there's a lot of these women who are not taking time to recognize how their family and how their family reacts and all that cultural differences is impacting that man or the woman. So there's a lot for me. Like, I never told my children, don't talk to white people or anything like that. I've said to them, I try to make sure that my children know about their culture, know where they're coming from, because I feel very strongly you need to know where you're coming from to know where you're going. And I keep it very close to them when it comes to their culture, their roots. And that is something that we need to start embedding in our children, because I find as though living in North America, you can lose that so fast. That's my take on it.
Big facts.
Oh, absolutely. One of the things that I struggled with is the fact that I tend to wonder, before I was woke, air quotes, would I have selected my white wife? For those who don't know, I am in interracial relationship for we've been together for about 16 years. She's the love of my life. I love her to death. She's my road dog. There's nobody else that I think I can trust or have my back. Like Trish is saying, when we first got together, no, she didn't know about the culture. She didn't know about the struggles that I, as a black man, go through. She didn't know what the struggles of a black person goes through or a person of color. But over the years, she has taken the time to learn. She has read the books. She has gone to different classes. She goes with me to almost every cultural event that I can grab and find and figure out to go to. So she does the work. But when people look at her, they see a white girl on my arms, or a black man on her arms. So as far as what Dr. Umar was saying and how a lot of other people feel, me personally, I mean, if it isn't obvious, clearly I feel that an interracial relationship is fine. However,
but there's work into that people need to put.
Oh yes, absolutely. Like you can't date someone outside of your race and expect to just think everything's going to be fine, because you have to do the work. Whether you're a black person dating an Asian person dating a white person, both parties need to figure out what is going on with that culture that they haven't been raised with. You talking about you love this person, you want to know this person, you got to know this person and know everything about them. And I feel like a lot of times we just get with people and we're just like, oh, okay, this is love. Like, no, love is doing the work. Love is doing all the dirty, getting in the muck, the mud, and just going for it. And I feel a lot of people don't do that, particularly in interracial relationships, because it's cool, it's trendy right now. Wait, don't get me wrong, I am low-key happy when I see another mixed relationship. However, I tend to wonder, oh, are they both doing the work? Are they both still helping out people of color? Me personally, I give to certain places. I go and spend my time at certain places because I want to make sure my people are being lifted up. I want to make sure my kids can walk down the street without fear. I want to leave this world better than I found it. So when a lot of people try to throw black love and stuff in my face, particularly, that always tends to rub me a wrong way, because I'm one of the firm believers that love is love, regardless of what the shade. However, if you really are saying love is love, you got to put in the work and you got to do the time and figure out about that other person.
Facts. That's, I mean, and the thing is that I don't think that the cultural differences between a black or interracial marriage is what drives them apart. I think it's not being able to handle or deal with the differences. Actually, I think that's what drives people apart.
Oh yeah, I remember back when I started really reading about our history and everything that was done to particularly black people in America, I was walking around pissed off. And my wife came to me one day. She was like, "Why are you so angry lately? Like, what did someone do?" And honestly, I could barely look at her. You know what I'm saying?
I was about to ask you that. Like, have you seen movies like Amistad and those movies with her? Because I'll tell you, after watching those movies, I'm like hating white people for like days.
Well, actually, there's some movies that like I'll read about before I watch them, and then depending on what's the movie about, a lot of times I won't watch them with her. Okay. Not because I don't think she can handle it, but for me, I know I need to have time to process and to cool down.
Okay.
So that's more so for me. That's like what is Judas and the Messiah. I went to the theaters and watched that by myself because I already knew the story. I just wanted to see how it was going to be depicted on screen, and that was something that I saw by myself. I'm sure once we own it, she'll watch it with me. But that was just something that I was like, you know what? Let me see this by myself. Let me just chill. All right.
Gabe? Yeah.
I love when Gabe laughs because that means he's about to bring something like you kind of scare me a little bit too when you laugh.
Listen, I get it. I understand, you know, I have a best friend who's married to a white girl. I went to their wedding and everything.
Yeah.
So I get it. I totally understand. Yeah. And if you decide to date out, that's fine.
Yeah.
My only thing is with people that date out is when they still want to have a foot or a say in how the community moves. That's a problem. For instance, you can't say black women ain't ish and you got a snow bunny on your arms. That does not sit well with me. Now, if you're dating a white woman and you're not being critical of sisters,
Yeah.
that's fine. And it's the same for the for black women that date out and marry white men. If you do that, that's fine. Do you go be happy? No one's telling you not to do that. It's just that when you come back to the community and say, "Oh, you black men ain't ish, and y'all don't work,
Yes.
Right.
and y'all sorry, and y'all don't build no wealth," ma'am. You decided to cash out and go to an opposite race. You decided that you want a white man. That's cool. We're not judging. Just it's time to close your mouth now. And there's a popular content creator who I've had to roast in my own rooms on Clubhouse that does that.
Yeah.
And that's not right. It's divisive and it's silly. It's very, very silly. And that's something I just can't co-sign. So that's my whole thing about the whole interracial.
Oh, I agree. I don't know what Trish, if Trish has anything, but I know for me personally, I agree completely. Like everyone listening, everybody watching, please don't get it twisted. Yes, the woman on my arm is white, but I still love every woman of any color. Like I've never discriminated against any woman. Like I love all shapes, sizes. Like you have no idea.
We have it recorded. Don't worry. Who loves women? Period. Just record it.
Exactly, and I'm completely with you, Gabe. Like it offends me, and it makes me pissed off when I hear, any male or female, when you are going to sit there and talk about another race as if, first of all, like, because you're going to generalize it just because they're a certain race, they are one particular way or a certain type of way because that's what you think. Like, I'm getting mad just talking about it now. Like, it just makes me infurious when I hear stuff about that. Like, no, don't demean somebody. Yes, you might have a preference, but that doesn't mean that other one isn't any good.
So I know Gabe has to leave in a few minutes. This conversation is really, really good, but I've been picking to ask him a question about his room that I was in last week when it comes to, I guess, women's marriageability and, just what they come with to the table and their prospects. Gabe, you okay with that?
Of course, yes. Yeah, okay. Please.
So I am a single woman with 3 children, and by the way, they're with the same man. Okay, I don't have 3 different baby daddies, but I was with him for 17 years, and I ended up leaving him. So when I go into a lot of these rooms, just listening, not just in general in your room, but even people like Kevin Samuels or even other singles rooms and relationship rooms, this is what I am getting, that I am a very low value woman when it comes to the dating pool. Now, if I wasn't as strong-minded and where I am in my life, I think that would have really, really dampened my confidence. But I know my worth. So I wanted to get your take on it.
Sure. All right. So I'm going to be honest and I'll ask you a few questions. So, Trish, were you married?
No, we weren't married.
Okay. How old are you?
I am 43.
So you're 43, 3 kids. Your oldest is how old?
22.
And your youngest is how old?
11.
Okay. What kind of man are you looking for?
I'm looking for a partnership.
Okay. So you want a modern setup. You don't want a traditional man, a man that's going to pay your bills and you stay home, right?
No, I don't want to stay home.
Okay, good. So I'm going to be real frank. Your attractiveness would help you in the market because you look better than the average 40-year-old with 3 kids. That's one thing. We'll start there.
Okay.
But you do have 3 kids and a man never married you. That's going to really hurt you in the dating market because as a man, if he's coming to you, he's going to be looking at you like, you was with this man for 17 years and you didn't require him to marry you. Why are you requiring me to marry you? That's how men think. But does it mean that your chances are shot? Absolutely not. That is a lie that a lot of these content creators tell these women, that just because they have kids, that it's just over with. Now, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna tell you what your chances are. I'm gonna tell you what kind of man you can get. You might not can get a lawyer or a doctor, but you can get you a guy that's an HVAC, or an electrician, or a plumber, and he's gonna take care of you and love you. And he might have 2, 3 kids, might have 2 baby mamas.
And Gabe, I'm sorry, Gabe, if I can interrupt, ladies, if you're hearing electricians and plumbers, don't sleep on them, because them dudes be making money for real.
Money. A lot of people don't know that. They think just because you're not a doctor, lawyer, or an entrepreneur, everybody wants an entrepreneur now. Not knowing that a lot of them don't make money until their 7th to 10th year in business. That's numbers. You can look that up. A lot of folks don't start seeing profit till their 3rd year in business. They go 3 to 4 years without seeing a dime. A lot of women, they want those men, but they don't qualify. I had a room today where I had wives of doctors talk about the lifestyle, and everybody wants to be married to a doctor, but they don't qualify for a doctor. So you're going to sit here and you're going to waste all your 30s and all your 40s trying to get a doctor or a lawyer. It doesn't work out. You try to get these femininity courses. You're trying to get game from Kevin Samuels. He telling you your life is over with. Oh my God, I'm doomed. And if you had just slowed down and got a man in your lane who you can blend your families and live happy, you'd be fine. Too many women focus on things that don't matter. His occupation, his height, what he looks like, instead of just focusing on, can this man love me, and can he enrich and enhance my life in a positive way? That's what they should look for. Facts. I might have to bring some resources. You're going to have to bring a little bit of money to the relationship, Trish. You're fine with that, though, because you said you'll work. He going to bring some resources, too. But that man is going to love you. Nobody should be telling someone they're not worthy of love, because if you do the work, you can qualify to get someone that love and cherish you in a good way.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And the thing is that when I listen to a lot of these women, regardless if they're in their 20s, 30s, or even 40s, I know for me, I left my ex in 2013, I think it was, and I spent all this time working on myself, making sure that the issues that developed in that relationship, the person that I didn't like who I was, so I realized that, you know what, in modern day society, a lot of women, when they look at, and I was talking to Jay about this, when they ask, would you submit to a man? I think a lot of women take that in the wrong context. It's like you have to bow to a man and say yes, sir, when that's not what it really means. We have different roles as a man and as a woman, and you need to know what your role is as a woman, and as regardless of your beliefs. That's why we were built differently, right? That's why we have different hormones. That's my belief.
Absolutely.
So that's why when I listen to a lot of these rooms, and I'm like, my I guess mental emotions is a lot more, I would say, stable than it was a few years ago. And when I hear women talk, I'm like, okay, I'm not even in that category, because I'm willing to work with a man. I'm willing to understand a man. So why are you putting me down? If I wasn't in the mental capacity that I am in, I would say, yo, I need to just go get 5 cats and call it a day. I just
listen, and I've been guilty of telling women they're going to be cat ladies, but I tell them that, I call it cats in combat boots. I say, look, ma'am, if you don't want to listen to the game I'm giving you, just get you some combat boots, get you a cat. I'll send you some Zyrtec and we'll call it a day. That's going to be your future,
That killed me. I'm done with this episode. Cats and combat boots. Yeah, I love it.
It's a thing on Clubhouse. I started it, cats and combat boots, because I worked with a lady who wore combat boots to work every day, and she was a cat lady, and she told me that she would be married had she been more realistic and less selfish. But now that time had passed, and she was a cat lady, and she wore combat boots every day to work. I tell women, if you don't adjust, lady that's 35 years old with 2 kids but wants a lawyer, if you don't adjust, you will be by yourself. The marriage rates are abysmal for Black people in this country. I read something today. I think it was from Bowling Green, and it was sent to me, and it said every other racial ethnic group is getting married more than they are getting divorced.
1,000%.
The only group that does not apply to are Black women. They are getting divorced more than they're getting married. So, and when you look at it, it's everybody's out of their lane. Nobody wants to be in their lane. So no, Trish, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's over with for you. I'm just going to tell you to adjust and redirect. There is somebody out there for you.
No, I totally believe that. Trust me, I believe that. And I don't even know if I want to deal with a doctor or a lawyer. One, their hours are ridiculous. And lawyers lie too much. Do I want that?
Can we be real? A lot of these women are so hot in the tail. They don't know how to sit down anywhere. They're always wanting sex and to get it in. When you with a doctor, I had 2 doctors' wives on my in my room earlier today. And one of the girls says her husband's going to work 80 hours this week. 80 hours.
Yo, my wife's a nurse, and I can tell you guys that medical field, it don't play. Them hours are long.
It's a beast.
Do not play.
That's I want a man to pay me attention. I want to be going on hikes and walks and bike rides and stuff like that. And when am I going to do that with a doctor or a lawyer? He's going to lie his ass off me because that's all lawyers do, lie. That's what that.
Any lawyers out there, we apologize for what Trish just said. Don't say this.
We do.
But Gabe,
sorry.
Gabe, before we officially let you go, I have 2 last things. The first thing is I hope you have time for. It'll be real quick.
You have now entered the hot seat.
All right, so Gabe, are you ready to be in the hot seat?
Always, man. I live in the hot seat.
All right, so Gabe, the question for you today is, what's one thing, just one thing, you would change to uplift people of color? You can only choose one.
Okay. To uplift them, I would change, quite simply, the relationship between Black men and Black women.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
I would change the relationship between Black men and Black women.
Dude.
The community can only go as far as our relationships. That's why I switched to relationships. I actually started out in the whole pro-Black scene, and I showed movies and held screenings and went to events. But once I read Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Black Labor, White Wealth, and Dr. Frances Cress Welsing's book, The ISIS Papers, it put the spotlight on the relationship dynamic, and that if Black people don't get a community, we won't survive. And when you look at community, what is a community? It's a collective of families and businesses. When you look at families, what is a family made of? Men, a man, a woman, and their legacy, which are their children. And the community cannot grow, it cannot progress unless Black men and Black women can begin to get along. We have the sex game down pat, we have the baby making down pat, but we don't have the family dynamics down pat. And once we can get that connected and get that fixed, that dynamic between Black men and Black women in romantic relationships, and learn to love one another again, then we can begin to rebuild our community.
Ooh, well said, man. Dang. Before I ask Trish your thoughts, Trish, Gabe, I know we're running out of time because I know you have to go.
Oh no, you're good. You're fine. You're fine.
Oh, where can everyone find you?
Sure.
That wants to connect with you.
Absolutely. So I do have. I'm on Clubhouse. That's where a lot of my following is these days. Ultimate Black Man, and I also am on Instagram at Ultimate Black Man, and Twitter, and I also have a YouTube channel. I'll start making content on YouTube again. My YouTube channel was just exploding, but I stopped because YouTube don't want to pay nobody.
Right.
So I had to stop making content, but I'll be back on YouTube soon. You can follow. Once you see the brown and gold logo, you know it's me.
Awesome. And Trish, my friend, so any inputs for you? What's one thing you can do
You can just rewind and replay his answer because you can just because it is so crucial, and because I have children, you know, I came from a broken home. Their dad came from a broken home, and now I just don't want that cycle to keep repeating itself.
Yes.
So it's educating our children and showing them these examples and just coming together as a community. I just feel as though as a community, we just try to top each other and just try to show off on each other too much, where we need to be coming together and supporting and uplifting each other. And I really want that for my children, because I really want the cycle to end with me. I don't want it to, or with them, I'm sorry, when it comes to relationships and being together and having that united front. And that's why I reiterate to my children, the three of them, you guys have to be close. You guys need to be always there supporting each other, because I see too many brothers and sisters, especially in our community, fighting over money or land or disputes and stuff like that. And I'm like, I never want that for you guys. And I explain it to them, and I've been putting that into them as they grow, as they were growing. So I totally 1,000% agree with what Gabe said.
Yeah, most def. I definitely do as well, and I think that might be a good point to bring in Mr. Positivity, because throughout our conversation today, regardless of who you're looking up to, who you're trying to partner with, who you're trying to be in a relationship, make sure you're equally yoked. Do what you can to make sure that you're staying in your lane and the person that you're trying to be with. Not that you can't do better, not that you can't go for your dreams, but make sure that all that's expected of that, you're living up to, and know what you're going after. And like Gabe said, like Trish just said, it's all about connecting with each other and being a community and just becoming one. This has been Bite the Bullet. Thank you, Gabe, so much for tuning in and dropping with us today, dropping all that knowledge, your wisdom. We appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Trish.
Not a problem, man. Not a problem. Thanks for having me, man. I hope I'll be able to come back. This was good.
Oh, no, this is the one time. You're not coming back at all, ever.
No, you gotta come back when Dee's in the house, because both of y'all have some good convos. So, it will be great. So
absolutely. Just let me know.
Okay.
Most definitely. And everyone, this has been Bite the Bullet. We will catch you all later. Peace.
Bye.